But I mean, having you guys on the panel, because these other shows are really kind of steeped in the genre a little bit, and you guys are a show that just has guys who sort of it celebrates the idea of people liking the genre. Would you like to be given some superpowers on the show, put you on an island with polar bears, something like that? Or, do you ever want to do a little of that?
No. But that being said, I really think though there's one of the commonalities that a lot or most TV shares is that these characters you get to tune in week after week, and no matter what the genre, they all. You get to a place where you count on them to have certain reactions, or you count on them to do certain things in certain situations, and I think that transcends the genres for the most part. I have nothing more to say about that.
But at the same time, that's how sprawling television is, that there are all these genres, all these mediums within the medium. Take a show like Chuck, which makes a medium. Your show from now on.
We don't have to cover a TV guy.
You guys do a mini movie every week, whereas we do a mini play every week. I mean, that's how vastly different the endeavors are. It's incredible.
What do you hear from a lot of fans? I mean, actually, from everybody out here, do you hear from people saying thanks for the portrayals you guys do, or I'm curious any sort of fan feedback you get.
Is this just me?
For now.
I had a scientist thank me today. I really did. She said she liked our portrayals of scientists and thought it was a really positive spin on smart scientific people. Yes. It was very, very sweet.
Well, actually, since you touched on Chuck a little bit earlier,
being kind of a nerd myself in many ways. That's right. That I was really proud to be a part of that, and I think that and that's why I think the Big Bang Theory absolutely has a place at a title like Comic-Con, because they are the people who would be at Comic-Con. Chuck would be at Comic-Con. If you watch Chuck closely enough, you see all of his Comic-Con bags.
So anyway, that pretty much sums it up. Well, that's good. Actually, it only
sometimes they recognize you and they're like, hey, thanks for doing us justice. And although, which is kind of scary because we don't do a very good job working on this. So I can only imagine like their stock room must look like a nightmare. I don't know what's going on back there, but it's nice to feel like you're doing somebody proud. You know?
Now, when we last left Chuck, I don't know how much you know about when you're coming back, but if there's anything you can sort of tease, he seemed to get superhero powers there at the end. Do you know what's coming up? Have they given you a hint?
Chuck Food, someone mentioned Chuck Food? What was that? Subway? That's right. By the way, I see some familiar faces. I was in Birmingham, UK, and we did this whole big Subway Chuck sandwich run. Wendy Farrington, who's in the front row here, she was responsible for the grassroots campaign. Wendy, take a bow. Stand up and take a bow. Right now. I'm not even kidding. This is a major component to why we're even still around. So I thank you guys so much. I can't thank you enough. So thank you. And Subway, yes, I think they're going to be a component in the show this year in a bigger way. I think. I have no idea. I don't work in the studio or the network, although maybe one day. Okay, probably not. And the Chuck Food stuff, we have a Chuck panel tomorrow at 10, so I have a feeling some of you might be there.
We actually have a look, we can run the clip a little bit of look, I think it's a compilation.
Oh yeah, we haven't started shooting the third season yet, but this is I think footage from the second season, or both, or something.
Okay, let's take a look at the Chuck clip.
Thank you very much.
Something for next year. Now, Kevin had quite, as cool as Chuck is, the Vampires and Vampire Diaries. We talked a little bit about it before, but I read it described as vampires are the new James Dean, which is sort of the new cool, I guess. But what was the inspiration for you wanting to do vampires? And will they become full of the Vampire Diaries?
You know what? Just a little bit.
Okay.
You know, they fly around a little bit. There's I don't know. I love vampires. I think they are hot right now. I mean, I don't know. I live for True Blood. I watch that show. I mean, that's the show I love so much. And so and this Twilight phenomenon is just really like Twilight fans here. And so it's, I don't know where we'll fall in that. We're based on a book, a series of books that have sort of the same premise. That's kind of where it ends. And so we'll see what happens. I can say it's been a lot of fun. I didn't think I would, do the vampire thing so much, and I'm having a great time.
That's good. Are there going to be geek vampires, though?
We've got a good vampire, we've got a bad vampire. One eats squirrels, one eats people, and so they just kind of, it's just torn between the two of them.
That's good. It's like old vampires. We have a look at Vampire Diaries. If you guys want to see a quick look at it.
Visitors, sort of becomes their mouthpiece. But like Scott said, 25 years after the original aired, there's still people that are fanatical about the original. And people, when I signed on to do the show, I was getting calls from friends and family and people who go, "Don't screw it up." So I don't think we did.
Actually, the important thing: will rats be eaten in this? Will anybody be eating rats? That's what I remember from the original, like rats.
I don't think I'm giving anything away. That there will definitely be a little bit of rat.
I know we have a quick look at it. You guys brought a little look. Let's see a quick look at these before we go on panel.